The last few years, if I think about one brand that has been the most surprising when it comes to their models that they're putting out, I think Cadillac is definitely up there. I mean, who would have thought that Cadillac, America's luxury brand, would put out the CT5 Blackwing and add a manual transmission to it? To me, it's such a cool move, and I think I would honestly, I would, compared to the new BMW M5, I would 100% go with a CT5 Blackwing with the manual instead of buying the new M5. 100%, not just because it's a manual, but also because the design looks great. And now we have this new, it's Monterey Car Week. It's just dropping cool cars after cool cars this week. Is great. I mean, it's great for content. I love covering these cars. So we have this new Mad Max style concept. It's called the Elevated Velocity. So we're going to have a look at this. I'm also going to show you the refresh of the CT5. They made a tiny tweak to the front ends. Something that I said I wanted to see when the first CT5 Blackwing came out, and they actually implemented exactly what I wanted to see in the refresh in the front end. So let's first of all have a look at this article from Car Scoops, and let me know. I want to hear your opinion here. If you were to choose between the new BMW M5 or the CT5 Blackwing with the manual transmission, which one would you buy? For me, as I said, it's a pretty clear choice. Cadillac over BMW, never thought I would say that. So this article here, Cadillac's futuristic SUV is Mad Max meets luxury. Hints at new design cues and possibly off-road focused models. And this is also a surprising design from Cadillac. I mean, it looks cool, but the thing about this is these are the packages we see more and more of right now. A package where it doesn't know, is it a luxury SUV, is it an off-road, or is it a wagon, is it a shooting brake? What exactly is this package? It's tried to be a lot in one single package. The brand is open to off-road inspired models and is looking for feedback. I'm gonna give them some feedback in this video, and it's gonna be good feedback because I really like this design. So it's a futuristic crossover, and okay, they call it a crossover, I guess, that builds on last year's opulent Velocity. The company seems open to off-road focused models and encouraged fans to let their voices be heard. As one official put it, if you like it, let us know. So let's do just that. So it features their evolutionary front end that trades the typical black crystal shield grille for a body-colored version, is joined by fluted? Flute? I've never heard that word before. Lighting units. Cadillac's traditional bodywork is replaced by soft curves and flowing surfaces. Yes, it does have a lot of flowing surfaces, but it still has this chiselness that we're used to seeing, and this sharpness, this razor sharp details that we're used to seeing from Cadillac. So I think it's a good mix of both. So you have flowing surfaces here. Eyeballs are also drawn to the 24-inch wheels and gull-wing doors. I'm not sure how well that is going to work with taking this off-road with 24-inch wheels. You're probably going to want to have a couple of spare tires in the trunk because it kind of is probably going to puncture those with this much tire, sidewall on the wheels. So a rakish windshield and a coupe-like greenhouse, which features blue tinted glass and Mondrian graphics. There is also vapor blue paint and pronounced cladding. So we do have some cladding here with the 24-inch wheels, and this is what I'm talking about. It feels like this is trying to be so many things. You have the cladding, which suggests this is you could take this off-road, but it wouldn't work with the 24-inch wheels. I think this would look so much better if they added some proper off-road wheel and tire setup to this. It would look very cool. So the model also has a sizable diffuser. You can see it right here. And a gun slit rear window. You see just how tiny the rear window is right here. Super small. Probably some cameras there to help you look out the back. Now the interior, minimalist 2+2 interior feature Morello red Napa leather. You can see the interior here. And you know what I think about these concept car interiors. The exterior looks great. The interior is just such a letdown. And it also has this, autonomous driving and retractable steering wheel, so you can just lounge in there. That's not what I want to see in cars. I want to be able to experience and control the cars myself at all times. But that's just me. Maybe I'm old school. I don't know. So while modern vehicle interiors are dominated by displays, Cadillac embraced restraint and put them in places you wouldn't expect them, including on the steering wheel. So you have a display right here, smack in the middle of the steering wheel. I don't think I've seen that before. You also have a steering screen right here in the armrest. Very red interior here. Maybe a little too red for my taste. So you have the crystal-inspired display on the floating center console as well, with the designers telling us they purposely avoided using rectangular screens. And that is a good thing. That is, I'm 100% behind that decision. I think, you know this already. I think we should move away from screens in any shape or form possible. So the interior is a little plain. Totally agree with that. Now here's the thing, it transforms into an autonomous vehicle, so when activated, the pedals and steering wheel retract while the cabin turns into a recovery space for occupants. If I want to recover, I'm just going to stop the vehicle at a nice national park or something like that, parking lot, and just chill out while the car is off. I don't want the car to be driving me. The crossover embraces red light therapy and a breathing coach to help you relax. So you have probably an AI breathing coach in here. Very interesting. The screen on the ladder will show the speed, time, and battery health, while the augmented reality head-up display provides navigation. Cadillac envisions the model would have a dual motor setup, all-wheel drive. Of course, you have sand vision system, something that is almost like a night vision. Sand vision would provide improved visibility in a sandstorm, because those happen all the time. So we want to make sure that whenever those very common sandstorms occur, we will be able to see in it. You can see some tools and stuff here in the trunk. I'm not sure what this round thing is right here, or what I'm not sure what any of this is. We have some shades here and some gloves. That's the only thing I can see. So let's jump in Photoshop here, because this is design, as I said, Cadillac is they're dropping some unexpected cars. And I really like it. I think Cadillac is the American equivalent to, who would it be in South Korea? Maybe Hyundai or Kia as well when it comes to design. If I were to work at an American company when it comes to design, I think it would go to Cadillac, because they look like they have, look at these designs here. It looks like they have a lot of fun just coming up with these variants of these new concept cars. This is a 100% a concept car. We're not going to get the gull-wing doors into production. If we do, I'll be very surprised. It would be very cool to see going into production. We're not going to get the 24-inch wheels either in production form, and the interior is 100% not going to make it into production either. For the next 30 years. But when you look at the key graphics here, I do like these type of graphics. This looks very organic in combination with this shell on top that feels very chiseled in a good way, in a very Cadillac-y way. You can see this chamfer going in the lower section, probably an illuminated logo in the front end, and it looks like we have the smallest daytime light I think I've ever seen in a vehicle, going down again in this bar that we have here, LED bar, typical for Cadillac design, looking very cool. Now look at the side view, crossover design, sits pretty high up, massive 24-inch wheels. I'm not sure if I like the wheel design here. I would want to remove this portion here, just have this be open, this section right here, and just have a simple 5-spoke design like this. Classic. You can never go wrong with a 5-spoke design when it comes to wheel design. You can see the cladding here as well, suggesting that this, could maybe be an off-roader. I'm not entirely sure. And I do love this line right here, the shoulder line. You see how it goes in from the nose right here? So it goes in from this line. We see it in front then. You can see it right here. And if we continue this line, see what happens? It goes into the shoulder line right here and then dips very strongly down here. What a beautiful single line right there. This surface reminds me of Mazda's Kodo design with some nice, wavy, soft, and calm surfaces in that area. And we have the greenhouse sitting very low and very sharp line right here. Love the greenhouse design as well. Just looks beautiful, dipping down like this. And we have this cutout portion for the mechanical pieces in the rear, where you have this shell just slapped on top of this mechanical piece that's underneath this vehicle. Very, very cool design. I'll look at the rear end. This is one of the craziest light designs I think I have ever seen, because these has this 3D effect similar to what Lexus has done in the LC, for example, in a much smaller scale. You can see that it looks like it goes deep into the vehicle itself. Very cool design. I also like the taillight unit right here. in a new way. I haven't really seen a taillight design like this. And we have a big diffuser in the lower section and this very, very slim rear window like we talked about in the article, looking very sporty and pretty elegant to me. This is a very, very cool design. Reminds me of, what was that, Audi Steppenwolf from way back in when I was a kid and I saw that concept. I was blown away. The Audi was one of the first manufacturers to create one of these luxury crossover. I do believe it was a similar design to this. I can't remember. I'm going to throw in a picture so you can see exactly what concept I'm talking about. Now look at the interior. Not really a lot to say about this interior, to be honest, because there's not a lot of features in this interior. We have the screen right here in the steering wheel with some buttons on the steering wheel. This is, as you can see, these type of steering wheels, if you're not Tesla, it's not going to make it into production. You also have a screen right here in the armrest itself. The seat, the materials for the seat actually look pretty comfortable. I almost want to see fabric come back for interiors in cars, even in luxury cars. I feel like sometimes when you have a plush, soft fabric seat, it's more comfortable than a leather seat. You can see the passenger seats right here as well. Now I want to throw in the CT5 Blackwing, the pre-facelift and the facelifted version. We have the pre-facelift up here. The thing I wanted to change was when I saw this design, the only corner that didn't make sense to me, the only angle that didn't make sense to me was this angle down here. Because you can see, it goes beautifully like this, and then we have this angle here, angle right there. It doesn't connect to, and it feels like this is singled out in an otherwise very beautiful design where all the corners have a clear definition to them. This is undefined, so it was an undefined corner right there. That is the only thing that I wanted to change in the pre-facelift CT5. Always love this LED, how it goes behind this piece. It looks like it goes behind this piece of bodywork and then comes back in the lower section right here. Beautifully done. And the blacked out grille, manual transmission for a big sedan from Cadillac. Something I was never expecting to see. Now look at the facelift, exactly what they did here. This corner, as we talked about, is now completely gone. So this is the exact redesign that I wanted to see from Cadillac for the CT5 Blackwing, and they implemented that in the refresh. One thing I wish they would have kept is this bridge here. You see this bridge? We talked about the body color here, covering one of the main daytime running light right here. Now we have one single line right here. It still looks great. I mean, we still have the headlight unit sitting in the proper position up here, and we also have, I do believe this is actually the indicator LED right there. But this area is such a better integration. I mean, look at the difference here. Now we don't have this singled out corner like we talked about. Now it's just a big triangle in the lower section where all the corners actually serves a purpose in framing key graphics in the grille. And we also have a separation here with body color. Same blacked out grille, looking beautiful. The only thing though, if I could have this new design, new facelift CT5 with the old interior, that would be the perfect CT5 Blackwing for me. Because look at what they did with the refresh here. They implemented the dual screen setup. They fell for it. Cadillac, why did you have to fall for this trend and go dual screens like everybody else is doing? You should have just kept this absolutely stunning interior like we have here with the gauge cluster housing and the key right here. This is key right there. The buttons for the climate settings in a beautiful array of multiple buttons right there. Instead, oh, actually, they still have it here. I didn't even notice, but they still have it in the new one. Okay, so that makes the new interior a little bit better. I did not see that. I apologize, Cadillac, but I still prefer the old one simply because we do have the separation of the gauge cluster and the infotainment screen right here. But this just got a whole lot better because I don't know how I missed this, but we still have, of course, the buttons down here. So that is beautiful, Cadillac. Great to see that. And the future for Cadillac is very interesting. I hope they keep dropping these surprise models and keep the manual in production for a long time moving forward, because I think a lot of people actually deep down they still want manual transmissions, specifically when you have a performance sedan like the CT5 and the CT4.